as elements of how you maintain your truth. It's all elements of how you find your truth, how you maintain your truth, and how you tell your truth. So, as you think about this topic, as you start to think in your own world, how do I create success habits? What do I do? What do I do that helps me to align? What do I do that helps me to feel good about who I am and what I'm bringing to the world and how I'm interacting with the world? How do I do that? Well, there I am. We were trying to get Dr. Jeff in, and we had some technical difficulties and some other challenges. Unfortunately, we are not able to get him on the screen or get him in voice right now, but that's okay. We're going to carry on with this topic. So again, talking about a toolkit, talking about this truth kit, this success habits. So part of the way that we do that the structure of this toolkit is by way of building these success habits by doing things that contribute to your aliveness. And I love the word aliveness because it really speaks to all of the pieces of what we talk about regularly with talking about joy, talking about uh, alignment, all of those pieces. So the setting up of a success habit, the number one thing that we like to think about is what are you doing on a daily basis? How are you structuring your day? How are you structuring your time? Obviously during this particular time with the pandemic, we have a lot more ability to be flexible and a lot more ability to start kind of building habits. And I know probably some of you out there have been a little tentative because we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know, how this is going to evolve. But I'm going to encourage you to really, really lean into this and lean into the idea of having these tools and having this daily practice that you can build as a foundation for catapulting your life forward in ways that you probably couldn't even imagine. And so now I've been talking for a few minutes, but let me say hi. Hi, everybody. My name is Jim Case, and this is Adventures in Truth Livecast. And excited to be here. Our Adventures in Truth podcast slash livecast is an evolution of a desire to, one, to create a platform for people to reach into their own transformation, to be able to provide uh, looking at all the things that we consider truths in our experience, all those things that we take for granted about who we are or who we think we are or who we've been told we are, and really, really expanding on that and providing some alternative viewpoints, providing some powerful alternatives to begin to look at your life in a different fashion, to begin to look at yourself as a creator, to begin to look at yourself in the truth of who you truly are. So, welcome. We're so glad you're here. So glad you're a part of this, and hope that you continue to enjoy what we are providing. So, let's dive in a little bit here to, we were talking about success habits and setting up those success habits. So, firstly, is building a life-changing daily practice. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go over some success habit guidelines. And these are loosely structured, but you'll see as we go through them that they're pretty straightforward. But the idea of the guidelines is to give you a framework, understanding how to set stuff up, how to engage with different processes or different things that you like to get involved in. There's there's so many different things that we can do to create a daily practice with breathing and meditation and yoga and all kinds of different meditations. We're going to talk about some of that today. Um, but recognizing there's so many different tools and there's so many different people. So let's take a second here, a little more than a second. We're going to do a little dive into this. And I want to talk about these guidelines, these 6 success habit guidelines. So the first, I'm going to put them up right up here on the screen for you so that you can um, you can see them, you can read them, and you can imprint them. So regardless of how effective a specific tool has been for anyone else, it must resonate on some level with you. For example, you see a show on journaling. It looks like a powerful and very helpful tool. Everyone on the show is telling you about the amazing changes that have occurred in their lives, et cetera, et cetera. You get excited about it. You go buy a special book. You got religion. Except for a couple days in, you find you have little interest or motivation. You make yourself continue to do it because it's supposed to be such a great tool. Well, it is a great tool, but not for you. Every day that you make yourself journal, you're building resistance. Excuse me. Every day you make yourself journal, you're building resistance. And as resistance builds, so does your judgment. Do you see where this is going? There are parts and pieces to all of this, but the first piece here is understanding that you got to find the tools that align with where your energy is currently and where you want your energy to be. So just because tools work for other people, just because somebody finds success, it's because there's a resonating factor that happens between the two. And so that's the first important piece, is make sure that it resonates. And of course, it's great to explore, but don't waste a lot of your time and energy if you're not finding that you're getting results from that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well shortly. So the second step that I want to point out in this process, success habits are very specific to you. Any tool or practice that you come across has the potential to be of great benefit to you. The trick is finding out if and how it will work for you. Just because someone has gained enormous benefit from a particular tool or practice doesn't mean you will in the form that they used it. And so I want to give you a little example here. So in what I do as my daily practice has evolved and evolves continually over the course of many years, actually, but it evolves over the course of a year. It starts with, for me, I'll give you an example. I actually have two processes I do a day. Each takes 30, 40 minutes maybe. And in the first process, in the morning, I'll come in, I do my breathing exercises, I get my body stimulated, I get my spine working, I get my body loose, I stretch, and then I do a very active process, a sustainable state exercise. It's an exercise of using the breath to alter my state. So I'm going to go into a meditative situation as I'm moving through this process. So I get the state shifted in the morning, and then I go right into yoga, and I do about 30 minutes of yoga, and then I sit and I do a meditation called the Medicine Buddha. And the Medicine Buddha meditation is a very powerful meditation. But the point being that this has sort of evolved for me. This is actually rather new in my process. I've started with the breathing and the stretching and did that for a long time, and then started to incorporate. So the idea, again, build your practice in a form that is useful to you, in a form that stimulates your energy and stimulates your body. Okay? So the next step, it's all about energy and alignment. Your energy needs are specific to you. Your alignment is specific to you. You pick the tools that resonate with your vibration, where it is currently and where it is going, as I was saying before. The purpose of your success habits is to first stabilize and then raise your vibration. Can you see how deeply personal these choices are? So if you're trying to take on something that isn't resonating, doesn't feel good for you, doesn't actually get any kind of stimulation going, it can be very defeating. It can be it can even be uncomfortable. And the daily practice should be something that you crave. It should be something that you desire to get into every day because of how it makes you feel, how it expands your energy, how it disconnects you from reactive stuff, where you go from shifting out of that base experience or that fear-based experience into an opportunity-based experience. So, and if you guys have questions as you're watching, or if you have a comment, I'll be checking those in just a moment, but I want to walk through these steps here before we get there. So the next step in this alignment, in this process, your success habits will grow and change as you do. As your vibration changes, so will your energy needs. So this is really important as well. As you increase your vibration, the needs of your field, the needs of your energy grow because you want to expand into more love, you want to expand into more expansion for that matter. But the clarity, all of those things require a level of vibration that's the point of what you're doing. So as you increase your vibration, you're going to want to look for more things that stimulate you even more deeply and more powerfully and more thoroughly. So the great news is that as you build your success habits, there will be a natural ebb and flow. One habit no longer serves your vibration, and then you'll find new tools and practices that do. Something that did not work for you before may work beautifully for you now because you're now aligned vibrationally with it. So if you remember back in the first or second step, we talked about that you may be doing something that doesn't feel good, doesn't resonate, but somebody else is doing it and they're catapulting their experience to all kinds of different levels. Again, that's not a bad thing. It's just recognizing that you have to understand where your vibration is and then court those things that stimulate and raise your vibration, things you can actually reach for. And it's not a contest. You are where you are, which is just as powerful, just as clear, and just as good as everybody else is. You just have different needs. You have different experiences. You have a different history. You have different DNA. You have different vibrational energies coursing through you based on all of the things you've experienced in your life. So the energy of the tool or the practice is matching where you are now, and that's how it's supposed to work, so that you can find that place of balance, that place that sets the foundation for a stabilizing effect in your vibration. So that first effect, doing these success habits, building this daily practice, sets this amazing foundation for you. So it's very difficult, and this is another piece that I don't know if everybody understands, but it's very difficult to go backwards. And I want to make this point really energy. When you focus yourself, when you raise your vibration, when you go to the place where you're attempting to increase and expand what you understand yourself and the world and the universe and tapping into universal knowledge, all of that is incredibly powerful and wonderful. And the thing to know about that is that once you've gotten to that vibration, it's really hard to screw that up because where you feel comfortable now. But part of that, in order to be there anymore, you literally would have to hurt yourself to make that happen. You'd literally have to do damage. And even then it would be iffy. You just and you still kind of have